Johnson heads to the bucket. Layup, Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody. It's another edition of Talkin Sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house. Here we go. We've got sports to talk about. NCAA tournament, it's the best. I mean, it really is fun, and the ratings are up. We're going to tell you about that. The women's game, not really exciting now. It's about to be though, and we'll talk more about that coming up here in a moment. But now we lead off with LSU baseball again, and this team. So the Lakers put together a great team to win a championship for Karl Malone, Stockton, and a couple of other guys. Didn't work. The Yankees have been doing it for a long time. It hadn't worked. So LSU has a great collection of baseball players right now. Great recruiting class from high school and great transfer portal class. There's no question about that. But they're not coming together at all. The good news is, and we'll talk about this as well, the SEC, to me, is either they're beating each other up or they're not as good as they have been in the past. Like it or not, for us SEC fans, the Big Ten has arrived, or they're back again. They're dominating right now in college basketball's NCAA tournament. They've won the last 3 national championships in college football. They're there. Now, will they be that way in baseball? Probably not. But at the same time, the number one record in SEC right now is 4-2, which means LSU is, as bad as they're playing, LSU's only 2 games out of first place. That's it, 2. That's it. Turn around just like that. It can happen. But fielding is killing this team. They're killing it. I was watching the game, and it was Game 3, with LSU losing 3-2. Baseman Ethan Kloss gets a routine ground ball, and he bobbled it. He threw the ball to first base, and because he couldn't get the double play, run scores. He couldn't get the double play because of the fact, ending double play, because of the fact that obviously the second the runner going to second was already there. So he wouldn't have been, out anyway. So he threw it to first, and they called him out. But I could see easily, before they even showed the replay, that it was tie or it was the runner beat the throw. And after instant replay, they showed it was correct. It's safe. But a routine ground ball, and he didn't catch it. He bobbled it. This has continued to be that way, and OU went on to win 4-3 the game, and that winning the series. This continues to be this way for the whole time. LSU had 4 hits in that game. That's another thing. Spotty hitting. 4 hits in that game. Now, Guidry pitched okay, but gave up, just 2 hits, but 3 runs on those 2 hits. And 2 of them were earned because of the error. And Oklahoma looked horrible. In the first game, they lost at 7-1, committed 3 errors. I'm shocked it's 3 errors. I thought it'd be more than that because they looked horrible in the field. They looked absolutely atrocious. Those 3 errors were just like that. LSU won 7-1. Casey Evans getting 15 strikeouts. Now, he's legit. Allowing just 3 hits and 1 run. In Game 2, LSU again had a chance, but the catcher for OU, Cerna, had an RBI single in the 9th to put them up 4-2, and that's where they won by. Right now, LSU is 10th in batting average in the SEC in conference play only at 242, 10th place. They're 5th in runs at 43. That's very good, obviously. The Vanderbilt series was more like a football game. They're 6th in hits at 46. They're hitting the ball. That's good. 13th in home runs with 5. They have 5 home runs in SEC play. They're 8th in RBIs at 36. Also, they're 2nd in the SEC in most walks. They're drawing a lot of walks with 40. And they have 58 strikeouts, which is the 5th least. 58. In this day and age, 58 strikeouts in 6 ball games. Again, LSU is 2-4 in the SEC, which ties for 12th, and 16-9 overall. 17-9 they won last night. Now, LSU pitching is another problem that hasn't been the best in the world. They're 13th in their ERA at 6.55. 6.55. There you go. That's a major problem. If you're 6.55 in your ERA, you got a massive problem. You got a problem. They're tied for 7th with giving up 49 hits. 38 earned runs. The Tigers are 13th in fielding with 959. That's 9 errors. And in all the games they play, well, 6 games, you know how many double plays they've had, Jonathan? 1.
Wow.
1 double play. That's it. And again, like we mentioned, when you look at the SEC, 7 teams are tied at 4-2. 7 teams are tied at 4-2. So LSU's just 2 games back. And that's great because when you look at the schedule coming up, again, what normally is the case, they've got a tough schedule coming up. They got tough schedules coming up. So last night they beat Louisiana Tech 15-5 in 8 innings. They got Kentucky coming up. Kentucky's 21st in the nation. Once again, you're looking at what they are. Now, you got Southern coming up next week, but Kentucky's coming up this weekend. Then you have Tennessee, and that's in Knoxville. Tennessee's not even ranked right now. We all know why. Their coach is gone. They got another coach, and they did one of those things, let's hire a coach to make the players feel good. But we all know it's probably not going to happen. I mean, there could be a diamond in the rough. Who knows? But LSU baseball right now, they still got time. There's no question. And again, they're only down by 2. Is there time to panic? No. But at the same time, Jay Johnson, the best coach in America, and I agree with you 100%, Jonathan, he is the best coach in America. He gets paid millions of dollars to figure this out. And he's going to figure it out some way because you can't have that good of a people. So the batting, I think, is good. It's the pitching and the fielding. What say you when you watch this team? Because I know you watch a lot of this baseball team. Yeah. I know that's the problem right now, seeing it on the stats, on the papers, and watching it myself. That's what you see. Can this problem be fixed, and will it be fixed in time?
Yeah, I do think it can be fixed, Chris. Yeah, there are a lot of areas where LSU can improve, but you got to give credit to the other team. I mean, just that Oklahoma series, it looked bad in the first game on Thursday. But then really bounced back, and LSU was up until the 8th inning, and Oklahoma, chips away, stays in the game, and then has a big inning. And then still, after they got down by 1 in the top of the 9th, Jake Brown hits a ball that was 5 feet from going over the fence. The left fielder on a full sprint backhands the ball on the wall, makes the catch. Like, you got to tip your hat to those type of plays, and that's been happening to LSU throughout this year. They're missing the timely hitting, and their pitching has been beat up a little bit. You mentioned the ERA. I think that's where you point to as really where you got to start the improvement. It doesn't get any easier, like you mentioned. The SEC gauntlet is tough every weekend, but I think you can really hang your hat on what Kason Evans did on Thursday against Oklahoma. He was absolutely phenomenal, a true Friday guy. If you have somebody that you are confident that you're going to go out there onto the bump and he's going to win every time out, that's just a hallmark, a cornerstone for your team to build confidence. Zach York got back on the big fly last night against La Tech. I know that's huge for his confidence. LSU absolutely needs him to be a power threat in the middle of that lineup. He got benched this past weekend after having a horrible Thursday. Hopefully he continues the upward trend. Jake Brown's still having a great year. Derek Curiel was able to walk the game off last night in 8 innings. So they are trending in the right direction. Oklahoma was the number 7, number 8 team in the nation when they came for that series. So, you're a couple swings away from getting Oklahoma. You're back ranked in the top 25. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And you're looking at an upper climb. And look, don't mistake. The SEC schedule, there are no pushovers. It will not be an easy a cakewalk weekend. They have to execute starting on Friday and need to turn things away quick in a hurry. It's not too late, but absolutely have to get on the right track, and I think they will this weekend. Look, Coach Jay Johnson, I promise you, has not been resting on his morals. He's been trying to make adjustments to each and every single player on that team, giving them specifically what they have to do before the ball game to execute. I think that's going to help these guys know exactly what the plan is and just take everything off the table, just go out there and execute the game plan. And look, you mentioned it. They're too talented to be kept down. I do believe they'll start turning it around. I do believe it'll start this weekend.
Are you shocked that the SEC, the number one teams are 4-2, 7 of them?
No, I'm really not shocked. I mean, there's so much parity across the board, not only in the SEC but across college baseball, that, these good teams that start scoring up against each other, that roll through their early season schedules, it starts to make sense that, everybody's right in the middle of the pack with so much parity, so much great baseball players in the SEC.
No question about that. I mean, so they're only, as crazy as it is, they're only 2 games out. But it won't last like this forever. I mean, Mississippi State, Auburn, Kentucky, who we're going to play, of course, coming up, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Arkansas, 4-2. That's 7 teams. And then you have Florida, 3-3, Alabama, Ole Miss, 3-3, Tennessee, 3-3, A&M, LSU, Vanderbilt, 2-4, Missouri and South Carolina at 1-5. So they're 1 game ahead of where Paul Maneri was at 1-5 when he quits the team, and because of their expectations. Anybody's expectations now, I mean, college sports is crazy. We'll talk about that coming up as well, but that's just absolutely unbelievable for that to happen. But anyway, 4-2 is the top record in SEC baseball right now. I mean, this is crazy. And then, of course, again, as we mentioned, everybody makes the SEC tournament this year for the first time ever. Everybody, well, when they were back with 10 teams back in the Moses days, but everybody makes the tournament. It's a one game elimination, 1-loss elimination tournament now, so everybody makes that tournament. But anyway, but LSU baseball still has an opportunity. Obviously, as we mentioned, they still have a shot to come back. There's no question about that. Jay Johnson's the best. They have the best roster on paper. They have the best roster, but that don't always win you games. This game is not played on paper. It's played on the diamond. It's played on the field. That's where you win games at. So, again, we'll see what happens later on with this situation. All right, when we come back, we'll be talking about LSU and Southern University women's basketball and the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about that when we come back right here as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, back after this time out here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
For a lot of people, going to the dentist brings anxiety. It can feel cold, rushed, even intimidating. We get it. That's why we built something different. We take the time, we listen, we know your name and your story, because you're more than just a patient. Your family. You don't have to dread the dentist. You just need the right one. Call or visit FougetFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, LSU women's basketball. And before we get into that, Flo J. Johnson, let me tell you what. First of all, I made a comment, I think it was last week, saying that if she's going to be a lottery pick, that shows you that the WNBA this year's talent is not as rich as it has been in the past. But let me tell you this. First of all, Flo J. Johnson is a first-class player, and she is a good player. She is a good player. There's no question about that. Is she Simone Augustus? No. Is she Sylvia Fowles? I don't know. Sylvia was good, no question about that. But was she Simone Augustus? No. Caitlin Clark? No, obviously. But she was good. But Flo J. Johnson is good and can be good. But the big thing is she needs to show up in big games. And I'm talking about South Carolina. And I'm talking about UCLA when they play them coming up. She needs to show up in that. But is she classy? Oh, hell yeah. She is a big-time classy person. When she missed the 2 free throws against South Carolina here in Baton Rouge, it crushed her. It crushed her, but she rebounded. She came back, and she did a good job. She's given $250,000 to the city of Baton Rouge in community events that they've done. She's donated that money out of her own money. She's given to teammates, gifts to her teammates and what have you. Has she represented LSU? Yes, indeed, has she represented perfectly. Perfectly. That was an awesome moment when she came off the court crying, and you could see Kim Mulkey crying. She played her last game of the PMAC. I hope she continues to come back well after her career obviously is over. She comes back to Baton Rouge, and she visits LSU and what have you because she is a classy person. A classy person. A lot of people will sometimes stereotype her because of the fact that she is a rap artist or what have you, and I agree. They don't have the best, I don't know. I don't know how you want to say it. But she is very classy. Very classy. And you would want more. Not only that, but she didn't transfer. She never transferred. She never wavered. She's been here since a freshman. She never wavered. She stayed right here at LSU. You know she was offered money other places, but she stayed right here at LSU. You put good athlete, representative athlete on your team in the dictionary, her picture should come up because that's what she is. She's an unbelievable player, and she is an unbelievable person. I've never met her, but all I've seen from everything I've seen from her in videos and all this stuff and that, she's absolutely unbelievable. LSU destroyed Texas Tech 101-47. They looked awesome. I wish they could look that way against South Carolina. They shot 56% from the field, 39% from threes, and 92% from the free throw line. They dominated the game big time in so many ways. Their fast break was unbelievable. Fast break points was just like that. They had perfect passes down there, everything. Their transition basketball was incredible, was absolutely incredible. It was great to see that. They really played a great basketball game, and this team looks good. There's no question about it. This team right now looks perfect at the right time. They're looking good at the right time. When you look at the box score, again, as I mentioned, they shot a whopping 56% from the field. That's pretty good. 39% from downtown and 92% from the free throw line. It never goes away that when you get in a playoff situation, when you get into tournament time, free throws are key. They're huge. They're huge. Williams look good. Johnson looked good. I'm talking about Sakaya. Also, Williams looked good. Micaiah Williams. I mean, and again, I love the way she shoots. 9 for 15. She has a great, pretty shot. But she needs to get that mentality in her head when they're playing a South Carolina or a big team like that. You need to do that too. You can't just do that during games like this. And it's great that you won. Texas Tech is they're 26-8 or 26-7 going into that game. Now they're 26-8. They're done. But LSU wins it 101-47. Their defense was suffocating. Offensively, they were unbelievable. So that's great that they do this. As we look, in the tournament coming up here in a moment, that this looks good as they get going on, and their chances continue to get better and better and better. Now, the Southern University Lady Jaguars did it for the second year in a row. They won their play-in game. They beat Samford 65-53. Coach Funches, a great guy. Coach Funches is absolutely unbelievable. He's won 3 out of the last 4 SWAC championship games to go to the NCAA tournament play-in game. They've won 2 play-in games in a row. And they've never done that in the history, but he's doing it. He's won 4 total, but 3 out of the last 4. That's incredible. If I'm athletic director Roman Banks, I got to be careful of not losing this guy because there could be a Samford, there could be a team that's bigger than this that says, you know what, we want you. If you can do that here, we want you and see what you can do there. He's a very good recruiter. He's out recruiting now. I just talked to Coach TJ Pugh this morning. He's out recruiting now. He's on the recruiting trail. The guy has proven it. And you saw the video of him slam dunking the ball. He won the slam dunk competition. I think it was 81. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So they play against South Carolina, and they lose 103-34. And everybody's saying, well, HBCUs and those kind of teams should never make the NCAA tournament. But yet South Carolina beat USC, the other USC, but I'd say the real USC, the one in California, 101-61. Ain't much of a difference, is it? Ain't that much of a difference? What happened with Southern is they got mind blown. They started the ball game, and with the power and the speed of South Carolina and the rebounding skills of South Carolina, they went back to their fundamentals. And when you do that, you're going to get beat like that. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. But as I told Coach Pugh, Southern does the same. LSU does the same thing. It's mental. They feel they can't beat South Carolina. Athletics is not just about your athletic ability. It's about mentally, too. You have to block out the noise. You have to block out this and that. And you have to be tougher. You have to be tough mentally to win championships, period. And right now, as I'm looking at women's college basketball, it's still the same. Maybe a few teams have changed. There's not the Tennessee Lady Volunteers anymore. Pat Summitt's long gone. That shows you how great of a coach she was. She is an unbelievable coach. There's not the Tennessees anymore, but there's still the UConns. I thought Coach Gino lost it. After all those years he wasn't winning championships, I thought he lost it. Well, guess what? He's back. He's back. They didn't lose a game this year, and they look like they're not going to lose a game. Notre Dame has been there for several years. They don't win the big one, but they've been there for several years. They're still there. UCLA is still there. Duke, in a way, is still there. Duke is not the Duke of the old, though. But Duke is still in that, I want to say like it's 12 teams maybe, that nobody can beat them. In the NCAA tournament game, nobody's going to beat them because they're winning by a monster mile. They're not even close. Other teams are not even close to them. Michigan's still there. Texas is still there. Texas got back a little bit, but Texas is not winning championships either right now, but they're dominating every single time. They won the SEC championship by beating South Carolina. They beat LSU. They were 1-1 against LSU. So Texas is there and has a good shot of winning it. Now, LSU is there now. South Carolina and Vanderbilt there now. So I'm between 9 and 12 teams are unbeatable. But now this is the weekend they all get together. This is the weekend where now they're facing each other. And we're going to see what's what. You'll see what the better teams are. And the Final Four always seems to every year look the same in women's basketball, which will be in Phoenix, Arizona this year. UConn is going to play. UConn, first of all, is going to play North Carolina. North Carolina, they're good in men's basketball, used to be. They're not the same North Carolina as they just fired their coach. We'll talk about that later on as well. But on the ladies' side, North Carolina is really not in that mix, even though they're the number 4 seed, and they got there by beating Maryland, who usually, is there in that top 8. Not this year. So North Carolina will take on UConn. The winner of that will take on Notre Dame and Vanderbilt. How legit is Vanderbilt? Two big private schools taking on each other in women's basketball. Who's going to win it, Notre Dame or Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt's playing good, but against bigger teams, Vanderbilt is getting beat. And then they want to gripe and complain about officiating. I think, don't be shocked if Notre Dame wins this game. And then the winner of this game has to play UConn. Good night. Good night. You had a good run. South Carolina's going to take on Oklahoma. Oklahoma has looked better. They have the number 1 player in the nation. And when I'm watching her play, she's a low-post player, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's okay. Now, she's a freshman. How will she be next year and the year after that? Is she tall like a Shaq or tall like a Sylvia Fowles or something like that? No. I'm shocked she is the number 1 player. I thought she'd be a guard or something. But right now, what Kim Mulkey says is true. Good down-low post players are setting up guards. If you can have a good down-low post player, your guards are going to be unbelievable. Your guards got to make your shots, but your guards, it's going to be good for guard play. South Carolina, Oklahoma don't have a shot. They've beaten them. Well, excuse me. Oklahoma did win this year against South Carolina in the regular season. But this is tournament time, baby. It ain't going to happen. That was at Oklahoma. This is not going to happen. South Carolina's going to win this game, and don't be shocked if they win it running away. TCU takes on Virginia, kind of a little upset deal. TCU was the third-ranked team. I think TCU will probably – it's hard to say if TCU or Virginia is going to win this game. But anyway, the winner of this takes on South Carolina. Again, good luck. It'll be UConn and South Carolina. However, UConn and South Carolina are going to play in the first round in the first game of the Final Four. Wouldn't that be unbelievable? South Carolina versus UConn in the first game of the Final Four, because they're going to be there. They're going to make it to the Elite Eight. UCLA on the other side of the bracket will play Minnesota. Minnesota had an unbelievable, great game. UCLA, I think, has lost one game this year, so UCLA will beat Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota upset Ole Miss at the last second. That's great. LSU will play Duke. LSU beat Duke at Duke in December. LSU and UCLA are going to play again. Now, can LSU beat UCLA? They have good big players down low. You better watch that. That's the only thing that's going to help them. But if LSU gets good guard play, LSU's going to, I think, can beat UCLA. There's no question they can. But the problem is, again, mentally, will LSU be able to do it? So I hope they can. But LSU and UCLA will meet in the Elite Eight. There's no question in my mind. On the other side of the bracket, it's Texas and Kentucky. Texas will win that game. And Louisville and Michigan, that's a good game. Number 3 versus number 2. That's going to be a good game. That'll be a good game. I get Michigan winning this game, though. Louisville has shown they can be good over the years, too. So don't be shocked if Louisville does win this game. So that's who LSU would play. If they beat UCLA, they'd have an easy semifinal game. And then the winner, they would play in the championship either against UConn or South Carolina in Phoenix. So I don't know. That ought to be interesting. Jonathan, have you ever had a chance to watch the women play on the tournament side?
Yeah, I watched LSU take on. I watched a lot of the Southern game, too. I'm a huge fan of Coach Funchess. And truly, that's the gap in NIL, right? A program with maximum resources in South Carolina against a program like Southern, which is lacking a lot of resources. And tipping a cap to Coach Carlos Funchess for getting his team there back-to-back years. Of course, watched LSU and the send-off for Flaugier. You mentioned her earlier, and really how she did the college experience right. Highly recruited, a McDonald's All-American, came in as a freshman, won a national championship, stayed all 4 years. When you mentioned, I mean, obviously there were other programs that were offering her big-time NIL deals, but gives a lot of credit to Coach Kim Mulkey. I thought she had a great impact on her, not only as a player, but as a person. She talks about how she gives back off the court. You mentioned all the money she's given to the community of Baton Rouge. So a player that truly did it right for LSU. I think the fan base has a lot to be proud of, both on and off the court with the young lady she turned into, the brand that she was able to build at LSU. And LSU is absolutely peaking at the right time, Chris, during tournament time. Michaela Williams, I thought, shot the ball exceptionally well against Texas Tech. She found her stroke early and was very confident throughout the game. So, look, if they can ride those big two, if they can really have Flaugier and Michaela have their best games moving forward, I don't think there's a team that LSU can't beat. Yeah. Obviously, there's the mental hurdle of South Carolina, 18 in a row. Not getting it done, but you never know what's going to happen, Chris. That's why you play it on the court. You don't know who LSU is going to face after Duke, and Duke's not a pushover. LSU has to play well in order to get past Duke, but we kind of all set it around Baton Rouge. We thought this team was definitely going to make the Sweet 16, possibly an Elite 8, but look, if the bigs play like they've been playing these last couple of games, very physical, rotate them in and out, and Michaela Williams is shooting the ball, she's been shooting it. If Flaugier does stay high, she has a chance to be tournament MVP. She's a very important piece of this LSU puzzle. Great in transition, finding open players at the 3. So, look, they have the talent to win. They have the coach who had a lot of experience in the tournament. So, if they can just execute and just ride the hot hand, I think LSU can go, possibly all the way to that final game.
I agree. I think they can. And Fulwiley is a big part of this. If Fulwiley does great at point guard like she does, and she's so fast, goodness gracious. Jonathan, you and I could put a brick wall, in front of her with just a little space for her to get around, and you and I try to guard her, she would get around us like it wouldn't be no problem.
Yeah, you'd have to give her some hard fouls, Chris.
Oh, my goodness. And I don't think you could catch her.
Yeah.
I don't think you could catch her. It's that she's unbelievable. She is no question unbelievable. Well, when we come back, we're talking NCAA men's tournament. Are people watching it? Is it still getting the ratings and people with the brackets and all that kind of good stuff? We'll find out as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan Marty's in the house. Even O'Allen's in the house. We'll have that coming up here in just a moment right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Falk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
All right, NCAA tournament, and I'm watching a little bit more games than I guess I normally do. Last few years I haven't watched it because LSU's not in it. But it's so fun to watch these tournaments. It's not even funny. Are people watching it? Listen to this. Record-breaking viewers opening weekend, 10.1 million opening weekend on an average. On an average, 10.1 million. That's 7% more than last year. Thursday, Friday games drew 9.5 million, while Saturday, Sunday's games drew 11 million on an average. This is just an average. Florida and Iowa and St. John and Kansas game, get this, drew 19.7 million people. 19.7 million viewers. The ladies' side saw an increase as well of 9%, with the selection show, get this, drawing 1.25 million, just the selection show. The Final Four for men's will be in Indianapolis. The Final Four for the women will be in Phoenix. Let's take a look at the Final Four for the men. Duke versus St. John's. And Jonathan, I know football season is over, but let's play a little who do you got. Duke's versus St. John's. St. John's barely beats Kansas. It was a fun game. A layup by a guy who didn't score any points wins the game. And Duke didn't look good in their first game. They looked better against TCU. Some people have gotten St. John's as the winner of this game, the David beating a Goliath of Duke. I don't. I think Duke wins the game and moves on to the Elite Eight.
I like Rick Pitino. I think he's one of the best coaches.
I do. I love
my
him.
generation.
Love the guy.
And the stoic reaction after St. John's pulls that off against Kansas. Yeah. And truly, the little point guard they have, I think it's Burks or something like that. That kid looks really good. So I'm not putting anything past St. John's. I'm actually taking them to defeat Duke.
Oh, wow.
I'll take the opposite. A little Cinderella run, but it's not really Cinderella. I mean, Rick Pitino has been around for forever.
I love him.
One of the best college coaches, I think, of my generation. So
yes.
I'm pulling for St. John and the Johnnies.
I agree. I am a huge Rick Pitino fan. Love the way he does it. He's not one of those overrated coaches like Calipari. He does it. And Calipari gets teams there, and we'll talk about it because Arkansas is there. But I'm going to tell you, I love Rick Pitino. Yeah. I love him big time. All right, Michigan State versus UConn. UConn obviously won those 2 back-to-back national titles. Since then, they've not been quite the same, and that's understandable. Michigan State, they just keep getting it done. Every year they keep getting it done. This one's tough for me here. I'm going to go with a Michigan State upsetting UConn here, and it's not a big upset. Michigan State's third, UConn second. Yeah. What say you? I'm
going to take UConn. We'll keep doing the Splitsville. That coach, I think he's also one of the best doing it right now, even though I really do have a lot of respect for Izzo. But yeah, UConn, a lot of success recently, and there's good reason for it. Very talented, very well coached, disciplined team. He knows how to play the referees and the head coach. So I'll take UConn in this game, but I think it's going to be very close. Michigan State, obviously, a very storied program, knows how to get it done when it comes March.
How about Nebraska? Hasn't won anything since probably Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were playing for the national championship with Michigan State and Indiana. Indiana State. Nebraska is there. They're playing against Iowa. It's number 9, Iowa, against number 4, Nebraska. This one's hard to go. I'm going to go Cinderella shoe. I'm going to go. It's fitting right now on Nebraska's foot. I got Nebraska beating Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know much about either one of these two teams, but I will also go Nebraska just so we can maybe have a pick that's the same this time.
All right. Illinois at number 2, Houston. Houston made it to the championship game last year. They're a good basketball team. Their coach, to me, almost was like a Calipari. He gets to the big games and he blows it. But Sampson finally got them to the championship game. They got beat last year in the championship game. Illinois, Houston, I got Houston winning. They're just too good of a program.
Yeah, I agree. Houston, too good, too powerful. They can beat you a bunch of different ways. They like to run a fast break. They can all shoot the 3, and they get to the bucket. So I'm taking Houston, possibly to make a run to the final game. Wouldn't be surprised. You said they got beat in the championship last year. A team that's been having a lot of success in the last 5 years, truly. So, yeah, I'll take Houston.
All right, and the other side, Arizona, Arkansas. Coach Calipari's got Arkansas. Now, I give him credit with that, but winning championships only won 1. But do I think would I love him at LSU? Of course I would. But do I think he's a championship-style coach? No. He's won 1. But he does rebuild programs. He does get him excited. And right now, Calipari's got Arkansas believing, but they're placing a juggernaut in Arizona. And I think if you go by the polls, Arizona's been number 1 more than any other team this year.
Yeah.
I see the Wildcats winning this game. I don't want to say easy, but I see them winning the game.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona as well. I do like Coach Calipari. He's done a great job at Arkansas. I'm surprised he's lasted this long in Razorback country. Just from his expectations to the program's expectations, I didn't see it as a fit, but it's truly worked pretty well. He's done well in the SEC, but I don't think Coach Cal gets it done. I think this is the end of the Razorback series. So it is what it is. SEC I'd usually pick, but in this case, I don't think they're going to get it done.
I agree. Here's another SEC team, kind of. Texas taking on number 2 Purdue. Purdue looked good. Purdue knocked out Miami. I watched that game. It was a fun game to watch. I really like this, but I got Texas winning. You know, Texas beat Gonzaga, which Gonzaga's always there. They just can't get over the hump. There's no question about that. There's not enough money there, but hey, credit them. They get to the tournament every year, and they get to the sweet. They do get the Sweet 16, Elite 8 sometimes, but at least they get to the 32. But I got Purdue beating Texas on this one.
I'll take Texas over Purdue. Sticking with the SEC on this one. Don't know much about Purdue. I know they're usually pretty good. Got good big men. But Texas is able to shoot the ball pretty well. They can move it around. Good point guard play. Also shoot a lot of free throws, and they're pretty good. So I'll take the Longhorns in this one over the Boilermakers.
Right now, the Michigan Wolverines look like they could be the best team in basketball. And that's over Duke. That'd be a hell of a final, Duke and Michigan.
Yeah.
That would be a heck of a final game for the national championship. Michigan will play Alabama. Michigan plays Alabama. Alabama has been good, and they've been close to the Final Four, but just can't crack that egg, that nut. They can't crack it. I don't think they're going to crack it this time. Michigan's going to beat Alabama.
I'll take Alabama.
Especially with their player that just went down.
Yeah, that's true.
That just got arrested.
Yeah, that's true. A huge fan of the coach. He's done a great job for the Bama program.
Yep.
I can't change it now. It's already on tape. Give me Bama, even though that might be a chalk that one up as a loss.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Had pot in his
Right,
car.
in the car, yep.
Yeah, and he's going to distribute. Tennessee will take on Iowa State. Another coach that gets them there all the time, but just can't seem to get in that finals to the Final Four. Tennessee and Iowa State. I got to say I'm going to pull for Tennessee on this one. I don't know if they're going to win it. Iowa State looks good.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Iowa State winning over Tennessee in this one, but I wouldn't mind if Barnes wins because I like Barnes. Barnes did the same thing at the same color school as Texas, the same almost colors. Burnt orange to the orange, it's almost the same colors. And it's the same Big T almost. But at the same time, I mean, he did the same thing at Texas, and that's why they let him go. He just couldn't get to the Final Four. He's done the same thing at Tennessee. I think Iowa State wins this one, but I'd love for Tennessee to win.
Yeah, I'm on board with you there, Chris. I think Iowa State just too talented. They have height across the board. They can go big lineup against pretty much anybody. They also shoot the ball pretty well. Iowa State over Tennessee, even though, the SEC, we're beating them up pretty good in this Pick'em series, but give me Iowa State.
Yeah, no question about that. So it ought to be interesting. Who is in your Final four? Who's your Final four?
I don't know, Chris. And truly, I love to talk about. I didn't do a bracket this year because I saw this video. Did you know that if you were going to measure it by inches, the chances of you winning fill out a perfect bracket, if you measured in inches, you have to walk around the circumference of the Earth like 1.9 billion times. Yeah. You got a better chance of winning the Powerball twice in the same year.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, twice in the same year, Chris. So, Final Four, I'm excited to see it. I don't know who's going to get there. My picks are probably all wrong. But yeah, it comes down to the wire. All these matchups, it doesn't matter if you don't know a thing about the teams. If you see a number 5 versus number 4, you can guarantee this is going to be an entertaining game. Some type of way, it's going to come down to the wire, and that's why people love March Madness. That's why it's so exciting, and truly, the ratings obviously reflect that.
No question about that. I think it's Duke and Houston in one match of the Final Four. I think Duke wins. I think it's Arizona beating Purdue in the other side on the other side. I got Duke beating Purdue. I got Michigan beating Iowa State. I think it'll be Michigan versus Arizona, and that'll be a hell of a Final Four.
Yep.
Arizona and Michigan playing. I got Michigan playing Duke in the championship game.
Well, there you go. Nothing like your Blue Bloods.
Yeah, that would be huge right there. Big for the ratings. It'll be in Indianapolis. That's the only place, and NCAA's got to be careful about this because people want to get Final Fours. Indianapolis is hosting this year's event, and they're hosting, I think, one coming up in 2 or 3 years. That's your home base, I understand. Congratulations. But there's other cities, better cities, that can host the Final Four. Indianapolis is a good, quiet city. They'll never host another Super Bowl. They won't even bid for another Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is too big for Indianapolis. It is too big. But Final Fours, they need to understand that other cities can host Final Fours. And speaking of hosting, how crazy is this? Next year the Super Bowl will be in Los Angeles, right?
Yep.
For the first time, 2 years out, the Super Bowl will be in Atlanta. It's not the first time they'll be in Atlanta, but guess what? The first time that there's no date for the Super Bowl in 2 years in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
There's no set date yet. 2 years out. And that's because, I'm going to tell you, Roger Goodell's going to get his way.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get the 17th, the 18th game. Watch what I'm telling you.
And it'll be overseas, too.
Yeah, he's going to get that game. There's more games going to be played overseas this coming year than ever before, and that's getting ridiculous.
Yep.
That's getting ridiculous now. Are you just go ahead and form your own league that goes like that over that? You can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
This is an American sport. Look, I understand they're trying to be another World Cup, and I understand that. And, kudos to Roger Goodell. But at the same time, man, this is our blood. They do that World Cup. How many years do the World Cup come? This is the first time they've come to America that I can remember.
Oh, yeah.
So, slow down, boy. Slow your roll down, brother. And there's going to be a Super Bowl probably one day in London. But slow your roll, boy, because the fact we don't want to keep seeing these games overseas because, one, it's at 9 a.m. in the morning, and two, you pay season tickets. So the Saints are going to lose a home game. They had 9 home games this year. Once again, they're going to lose a home game. We're going to have 8 home games for the Superdome because one of them is going to be in Paris, France. And I kind of like the idea that it's in Paris, France because it's never been played there. And Paris, France, and New Orleans have a connection. I like that in a way, but in a way, again, slow down, boy. Slow down. Notice the Dallas Cowboys don't do that because notice the Dallas Cowboys don't get another Super Bowl in Jerry's world because he says no. I'm not going to buckle. My home games are my home games. I want to keep my home games from my fans, and because mainly, no, that's not number one, that's number 2. Mainly, I want the money. That's what Jerry Jones is saying. I want the money. I'm not going to play in Paris or Mexico or this or that or that or this. Mexico might because he's got a big fan base in Mexico. But I'm not going to London. I'm not going to France. I'm not going to Brazil. I'm not doing any of that. I'm staying here in Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys, not the London Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys. And I want to stay here in Dallas. And that's why you notice Jerry is not getting another Super Bowl. They haven't had a Super Bowl for a long, long time. And that's mainly because of that. When they remember they won the Super. You remember when the Super Bowl was played in Dallas, Jonathan?
No.
Green Bay won. That's when not Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers won his Super Bowl.
Wow.
That's been a long time ago. Long time ago. All right, other sports to talk about. We'll do that when we come back. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers. This week, Paul Mainieri gone at South Carolina. Just 1.5 seasons, and he stepped down because of the South Carolina fans think they need to be in the finals every year because of what Tanner did back in the day. That was great, what they did, and they're the last team to win 2 straight national championships in a row. But this college sports today is out of hand. This college sports is just, I'll be honest with you, Jonathan, I don't know if I want to watch it. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I don't want to watch it. The one and done, the reason why I haven't watched, these NCAA basketball games in a long time, these tournaments and what have you, is because they're one and done. I mean, you get used to one player, and either that person could go to the NBA or they can go to, or they can transfer out. And it's just getting to the point, how can you root for a team that does that? How can you root for stuff that does that? These college fans they're going to want Lane Kiffin to win in the first year. Who knows if they can? Kiffin was kind of shocked that when he looked up at a stat on a monitor that LSU hadn't been to a lot of New Year's Day Six Bowls. And it's because of the fact that you don't dictate that anymore because of the college football playoffs. But Ohio State has. Alabama has been because with Nick Saban, they made it to a lot of times, but that's about to come down. A lot of them are about to come down. Ohio State really is the only one that every year out, they make it. Oregon has been making it the last couple of times. The problem is with Oregon, they're not going to win a national title. Even the money that Nike has is not going to help them win a title. The money that Texas A&M has, they don't even get there. And the money that Texas has, they're not winning national titles. So it ain't all about that. I think college fans need to slow your roll down. Slow down. I mean, understand it takes time to build. If you build, let's say your finances, you think you're going to be able to be like that unless you win the lottery? No. It takes time to build that. It also takes time for you to build a team. This is not a video game where you can turn around a team just like that. It takes time, man. It goes by rules. It takes time. And I don't know if nobody knows if Paul Mainieri would have turned South Carolina around. When he came to LSU, it wasn't really established. They were going down. But you tell me that Paul Mainieri, maybe the game is passing by, maybe a little bit with the new day and age, maybe. But you tell me he's not a good coach. He brought Notre Dame to the College World Series, and he brought LSU to the College World Series twice. They lost the championship game. They lost against Florida, and they lost against they won. What was it? Texas. It was Texas they won in 2009. So he knows how to do it, but he hadn't had a full 2 years. Are you kidding? And right now, they've won one game in the SEC. They're 3 games out of first place. So South Carolina fans, you deserve what you get. I know Paul Maneri, he's a great guy. I think he's a good coach. But he didn't say it. He thanked the fans and what have you. But in an interview a couple of days ago, he said it. They have too high expectations. It takes time, man. It takes time. And college baseball is not like the Skip Bertman days anymore. Those days are gone. Like I said, the last team to win back-to-back titles was South Carolina. I think it was, 10 and 11? So, Jonathan, I mean, am I wrong on these? Same thing with Kelly being pushed out. Now, Kelly, I'm hearing more and more Kelly lost the locker room. So I'm hearing more and more about that. Finally coming out that Kelly lost the locker room. And when you lose the locker room as a coach, I've always said that you're gone. But is expectations for college sports, I mean, I think it's just going to get worse. What say you?
Oh, yeah. Well, the flavor has certainly changed with college sports. It's no longer amateur sports. So you're paying these players to come in and fill the contract. You're paying these coaches to hold these players to the contracts. And, yeah, expectations obviously in the SEC are higher than other places in the country. Paul Maneri was a coach that had brought his team to the College World Series finals a couple times. So, yeah, they expected a winning pedigree right away. Did bring in some pretty good signing classes. But, look, you're still in the SEC recruiting against a guy named Jay Johnson in the state of Louisiana, which is your last head coaching gig. So, all your coaching ties pretty much still cycle through the Southeast. And that's still the same players that the rest of the SEC is going against. So, yeah, college sports, much more parity. There will be no more dynasty teams like we saw in the last 20 years. Just look how special that 2019 football team was for LSU. They didn't have a quarterback that they really believed in the season before. They had to get a transfer from Iowa State, a guy who hadn't played it down in college football. So a lot has to go right for your roster. On top of the ball has to bounce your way a bunch during the season. Stars have to align. Got to avoid the injury bug. Got to have the right type of player to attack the failures.
Right.
And don't have mistakes, but have learning opportunities to get better and better and better, and really focus on the process and not the product, the final outcome. And look, if you have time to implement a process-oriented program like Nick Saban did, then it's great. It usually works out. Kirk Cignetti, I mean, he goes to Indiana, and immediately it seems like he has success, but he is a process-oriented coach that went and got a lot of experienced football players to transfer to Indiana, and you saw the product on the field. It takes time for these kids to figure out just to play how to play college sports, much less how to juke and jive and the X's and O part of it. It does take time. I think that Coach Maneri was probably at the end of his rope anyway. I don't think he wanted the expectations of his job. He wanted to get back into coaching. He thought he can give it another shot, and South Carolina did give him that opportunity in the SEC. So, I mean, nothing to be ashamed about, nothing to hang your head over. You go out still a College World Series champion. Look, one of the best coaches at LSU. He had a great winning percentage here. Thank you for Coach Maneri for all you did for this program and college baseball. Don't hang your head. South Carolina fans, I mean, what are you going to do next? I mean, you're going to go get another coach that has won the College World Series that is free and willing to fill out the rest of this season. You still have more than 3/4 of the SEC schedule left. So, good luck. I mean, good luck getting through it with an interim head coach.
There is a coach that won a national championship, and he is available.
Who's
His
that?
name is Tanner.
Right.
Call him back.
Right.
No, he ain't coming back.
Right.
He's retired from the AD spot. He ain't coming back. Word is Cam Jordan is about to announce his retirement. He's not getting the money that he wants from the Saints, and other teams are not even close to what the Saints are offering him. So word is that there's people that are saying that Cam Jordan is going to have an announcement soon that he may retire from the NFL, and you need to. I think it was you led the team in sacks for the simple reason, and it's 10.5. It's not like it's 20. All right, I think that there are so many players being guarded that you got through and got sacks, and I understand that. I love you to death. You're a great community guy. great everything, but word is that Cam Jordan may announce his retirement here very soon. Also, Derek Carr, not one call to the Saints about trading for Derek Carr. Derek Carr has a bummed arm. It ain't going to happen. He has to have surgery, then the rehabbing and all that stuff. It ain't going to happen. UNC fires Hubert Davis. UNC just didn't feel like the same with Hubert Davis as coach. They made it to that Final Four. Remember that year they made it to the Final Four against Duke? It was a great game. Then Duke beat them, and then Duke went on to they beat Duke. They beat Duke in the Final Four. It was in New Orleans. And then Duke went on to lose to Kansas, or UNC went on to lose to Kansas, and Kansas won the national championship. That's another coach I like a lot. Speaking of that, Jonathan, the longer LSU waits to fire McMahon, the better chance McMahon's got to win. Is going to stay. Because coaching vacancies are filling up right now. The only way that they wait and they fire him later is during Final Fours. They have a ton of coaching conventions.
Yep.
All the coaches meet. They all get together in Indianapolis and they meet. That's where they meet and what have you. Other than that, I see McMahon keeping his job. The longer they wait, other coaches are filling in their positions. And unbelievable. I wish I had that video clip. First of all, what were your thoughts? McMahon stays or goes?
I think he goes. I'm hearing there's just too much smoke around this Will Wade story for it to be nothing, for it to be absolutely nothing. So either somebody's really having these conversations of what the number it's going to take for Will Wade to leave NC State and come back to LSU. Thank you, Coach McMahon, but I think a lot of LSU fans would take that deal at this point to be in the bottom of the barrel for the last couple seasons. I believe everyone when they say he's a very decent human being. He's been great to have on campus, but the product has not been on the court. I think it's time for him to go. I think they should have fired him last season. Had a chance to have a real coaching search, but I'm hearing a lot of Will Wade talk, and it's not that he's not coming to LSU. It's that he's going to be the next head coach at LSU basketball.
Yeah, I'm hearing different. I'm hearing that the reason they won't bring him back is because other coaches they let go because of inappropriate deals, meaning money and all that stuff, are ready to file lawsuits, and it will happen. I know for a fact Pokey Chapman was about to file massive lawsuits against LSU when she found out that other coaches did the same thing she did. She was about to file a massive lawsuit, and they paid her off big time. And this was – I don't know if you saw this. I wish I'd have thought of this to bring this clip on here. There's a guy – Providence hired a new basketball coach, Brian Hodgkin. Did you see that interview? Did you see that press conference?
No, I did not.
He's got a beautiful wife. A beautiful wife, brunette, beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed brunette is gorgeous. And he said, if you have any questions about my recruiting abilities, look at my wife.
Hey,
and it's true.
There's something to that, no doubt.
Oh, and she's gorgeous. Yeah. Yes, and she was right there at the press conference. It was funny as hell. I wish I'd have brought that. I wish I'd have put it on there. Joe Burrow getting criticized for playing in the flag football tournament. Cincinnati fans are saying, what is a guy playing?
Yeah.
That's a glass because your offensive line is bad. All right, let's face it. Another LSU star played in that and might be making a comeback. Odell Beckham Jr. Had an unbelievable catch, and other teams are now interested in him.
Well, Chris, how come these guys are going to play flag football at full tilt, but we can't get a competitive Pro Bowl?
Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
Exactly. They're wanting to make that. They want that gold trophy. LSU had Pro Day last week. 17 LSU players participated. Delane had 4.38 in the 40. Linebacker Harold Perkins did well, but get this. West Weeks, 4.5 in the 40, right?
Right, yeah.
A 31.5 leap vertical.
Yeah.
A linebacker.
Yeah.
That's it for sports. We'll talk to you next week, everybody. I'm Chris Powers saying so long on Pelican Sports TV.
Johnson heads to the bucket.